You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, that was good. 3 down, 1 to go. 1 to go. Welcome to the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers Podcast feed. I am Pete Fox, host of the Dodgers Postcast, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007. I worked for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Obviously, I can't remember if my daughter asked me today if I've ever been to a World Series, and I was like, I feel like I was there at 16-17 when the Dodgers were facing the cheating Red Sox and cheating Astros, but I can't remember. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't. I definitely wasn't there in 20 when the Dodgers won the COVID shortened season. But this one is basically in the bag, because statistically speaking, there is a grand total of 0 teams in the history of baseball that have ever come back from down 3-0 in a World Series. It's happened one time in baseball. Of course, that was Yankees Red Sox 2004, which I predicted somewhere along the line. It felt like, yeah, the Red Sox are going to come back and win this. And I put my money where my mouth was, and that worked out very well. This is a different situation. Anything's possible, but it's highly unlikely that the Dodgers do not win this World Series. Of course, again, I'm not going to jinx it. Anything's possible, but the numbers are in the Dodgers' favor. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast, by the way, a 4-2 win in Game 3 to grab a 3-0 series lead. Walker Buehler was magnificent. We'll get into that. Is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can play a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Walker Buehler, to me, again, I wasn't worried at all. He's been good in the playoffs. Had that one bad game against the Mets where he got shelled early on that Monday midday matinee getaway day. But since then, he's been locked in. And the one thing that we keep hearing about Walker Buehler that really rings true to me is that he is a big game pitcher. He shows up when, the stakes are high and performs. It's like he thrives on this type of situation. Unlike Shohei Ohtani, who, granted, I know he's maybe a little banged up today. There's obviously questions being asked to how bad his injury with his shoulder was, but I'll tell you what, he's been mediocre at best in this World Series. Got on base tonight with a walk, but his at-bats were just ugly. Pulling out the stuff that would frustrate me in the middle of the season when we know what Shohei Ohtani is capable of. We haven't seen that this World Series at all. So much so that Fox, in the preview promos for the World Series yesterday during NFL action, they were like, Game 3 of the World Series in New York at Yankee Stadium as Aaron Judge leads the Yankees versus Freddie Freeman and the Dodgers. They just, we all knew that coming into this World Series, the matchup that everybody wanted to see was Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. How would they face off against each other, even though they don't face off directly? How would they perform for their respective teams, being the AL and NL MVPs this season? Almost undoubtedly. I don't know what's going on with my camera, why it is zooming in and zooming out and trying to find focus. I'm sorry. I wish I could make it stop doing that. It's really annoying on my end as well. It's like trying to focus. It's friggin' annoying. Maybe I'll just use a different camera. Anyway, sorry to get sidetracked there, but that was just annoying and distracting. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani has not been good. Aaron Judge has been worse. One hit through this World Series for Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani doesn't have many more. 0 for 3 tonight. Did score a run on the Freddie Freeman home run as I once again bury the lead. Freddie Freeman, MVP of the World Series thus far. And if the Dodgers win tomorrow or hold on for a World Series title, Freddie Freeman is undoubtedly the MVP. Who else would you give it to? There's nobody else that has even come close to performing the way Freddie Freeman has with 3 home runs. His 5th consecutive World Series game with a home run. That's just an unbelievable, remarkable stat that is almost unbelievable. I mean, really, 5 home runs in a row. I mean, that's dating back to when he was on the Atlanta Braves and they were in the World Series. I can't even remember when they won that World Series. It was before the Dodgers in 2020. I think it was maybe 18 or 19 in that neighborhood. So 5 home runs in 5 World Series games for Freddie Freeman is just remarkable, and he is locked in. The only hit he had today, the home run, going 1 for 3 with 2 RBI, and Teoscar 1 for 4, nothing spectacular there, but in the field, he was phenomenal. That throw from left field to nail Giancarlo Stanton at the plate, unhitch the trailer. Stanton, dude, is not fast. What in the heck was the third base coach thinking there, sending him right at that point in time? My wife was inquiring. She's not really a sports fan and not really a baseball fan, and knows a little bit about this or that, but was inquiring about the terminology runners in scoring position. And I said, anytime a man is on second, a person is on second or third, that's quote scoring position, because they can score on a single. And then guess what happens next? Single to left field, and Teo comes up firing, gunning Stanton at the plate. So proving me wrong, and the generic terminology of runners in scoring position wrong as well. That was fantastic. A one-hopper right into the glove of Will Smith to swipe the tag on Stanton. And then just before that, in the 4th inning, Mookie made a great play on a line drive from Chisholm, took a step back and then came in to snare it. So the Dodgers defensively today were spot on, locked in, doing everything right from a pitching perspective and from a fielding perspective. And let's not ignore the fact that the home plate umpire was a little off tonight. And it wasn't just in favor of the Dodgers. It worked against them a little bit, but definitely more crucial calls went against the Yankees in crucial periods of the game. When he struck out Chisholm, who was just frustrated as hell. I mean, he was chirping at the umpire the whole time. And then that strikeout to end the inning against Gleyber Torres. That ball was a good 2 inches outside of the zone. And yeah, that was a big K there from Bonda. And I don't know that it changes things dramatically, but that's a wet blanket over a little rally for the Yankees right there. A team that's had a tough time finding any sort of offensive energy. Offensive momentum has not been working in their favor at all in this series. They have not been able. In the first game, it was going pretty well until Freddie Freeman put an end to that. But since then, they have just struggled at the plate offensively. And right at that period of time, they had runners on base, 3-2 count, and the ball was out. It was not a strike. And as I've said over and over again, in high leverage situations like this, there shouldn't be a question. It's a strike or it's not. We know what the strike zone is. We could see it. Everyone could see it. Guess who can't see it all the time? The umpire, because it's happening in real time. And they're right more often than they're not right. Obviously, they're graded and judged on these things. But in that particular situation, that was not a strike. That should have been ball 4. And I'm not going to complain too loudly because it worked in favor of the Dodgers. But ultimately, it's not fair. I empathize with the Yankees in that particular situation. That's got to be really, really frustrating right there. Yeah, we should know. We should not question. It should be black and white. That's a strike. It's not a strike. Robot umpires, where are you? I know you're in the minor leagues and they'll be here before we know it. Maybe not next season, but the season after. Maybe by 26, we'll have the robot umpires. They come up with another acronym for it, but it's a robot umpire. You have a human back there calling what happens, what they hear in their ear. But the bottom line is the computer will say ball strike and it'll go beep, boop, whatever. And the umpire will say strike, ball, yes, no. And we won't worry. We won't wonder anymore. The hitters won't be frustrated. I'm sure they still will be. In tennis, the players are still frustrated when the ball is called out. They still challenge when they know it's never going to matter, but they still do. And I'm sure umpires, batters will still be mad at the robot umpire, but it'll be better than what we had tonight. That was just not good. It was a few bad calls against the Dodgers as well, but not in clutch, high leverage situations like that. Walker Buehler said we get into that, and we will right after the break. His night on the mound was dominant. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. It's where you find Jeff and Vince doing the daily Dodgers podcast. So make sure you check them out and get their 2 cents on this 4-2 win as the Dodgers take a 3-0 series lead heading into game 4 tomorrow. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks, of course, is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions and billions of dollars awarded in winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less. Should be fewer, but we'll just go with less on at least 2 players, up to 6 from 2 different teams. You can't pick 2 Dodger players or 2 Yankee players. You got to pick a Dodger and a Yankee, or a Dodger and a Cleveland Brown, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It could be any other player from any other team, and you can win up to 100 times your money if you pick the guys with the red demons above their head. Those odds are higher and a little harder to hit. They have the green goblins, which are a little easier to hit. But the bottom line is there is a ton of action there. Strikeouts, walks, base on balls, total bases, fantasy score. There's plenty of different things to choose when you're looking at baseball. Obviously, even more options for you in football. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Georgia, and Texas. PrizePicks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. My initial deposit was super painless and hassle-free, which makes it a whole lot more comforting when you win. You can get your money back in as few as 15 minutes. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. PrizePicks. Download the app or go to their website and use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. Walker Buehler had him guessing today. They could not figure him out at all in a 4-2 win for the Dodgers, which really was this close, a hair away from being a shutout. Former Dodger Alex Verdugo, a home run, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, off of Michael Kopech. The only runs the Dodgers gave up, he threw 24 pitches, but got out of the inning, getting Gleyber Torres pretty quickly after the home run. Torres was 0 for 3. The Yankees managed on the night a grand total of 5 hits, just like the Dodgers. But the Dodgers got things started with the Freddie Freeman home run, and they never really looked back because Walker Buehler had it going. He was commanding the fastball, hitting spots. The Yankees couldn't figure him out. The off-speed stuff was working. He gave up just 2 hits while striking out 5 on 76 pitches. His postseason ERA, 3.86. Gratterall came in for 2/3 of an inning, gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, 18 pitches before he got pulled. Could have gotten out of it, but made a goofy defensive play there on a fielder's choice, threw a bad ball to second base. So they were lucky to get Soto at second, but couldn't turn the double play. So Vesia came in for a third of an inning. He threw 4 pitches and continues to dominate the way we've seen him dominate this entire postseason. I can't remember the last time Vesia wasn't in there making easy work of opponents. Hudson came in for 2/3 of an inning, 2 strikeouts, 1 hit. Bonda came in to finish it off. Dave Roberts continuing to pull the right strings. And granted, we got a little lucky there on that bad call against Gleyber Torres when Bonda was pitching there. But, the moves that he's made, I don't think you can criticize and say that fire Dave Roberts because he doesn't know how to manage the bullpen. The bullpen has been absolutely dominant and locked in. Brazier, an inning, 22 pitches, struck out 2 and walked 1. And then Michael Kopech in the 9th, as we just mentioned. So the bullpen looks great. Yeah, it's going to be a little hairy tomorrow with the bullpen day being up 3-0. I have the feeling, I don't know. I mean, you want to close the door. You want to keep your foot on the throat. You don't want to let up. You don't want to give them any opportunity to come back. You don't want them seeing daylight. It's like they're going to do everything in their power to win this series tomorrow. But there is a little bit of leeway where you might be able to run Landon Knack out there. I don't know. Is that crazy? They didn't throw some of their guys tonight, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullpen dudes. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit shorter, but that's the plan for tomorrow. I mean, maybe he starts Landon Knack. I'm not exactly sure how that will look. But the fact is that the opportunity is there to win the series, and you don't really want to mess around with that. Kasperius potentially, we saw him early in the last bullpen game. Brett Honeywell, Landon Knack, Trinan did not pitch tonight, but beyond that, everyone else did. So obviously we won't see Flaherty, we won't see Yamamoto, we won't see any of the starters. So Bonda, Vesia could start. He only threw 4 pitches today. Brazier had a pretty good inning, so obviously maybe Kasperius gets the start. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if it's Landon Knack, and then he works through it 1 inning at a time, and hopefully get a lead early, and then you can let Brett Honeywell burn up some innings. So tomorrow's going to be a little hairy. It's not going to be as easy and cakewalky as today was. Today was one of these games where you just never felt stressed to me at all, even after the home run. I just look up and down this Yankee lineup, and there's nobody really other than Giancarlo Stanton that scares me. I don't know. There's nobody there that makes me go pitch around that guy. Like the only guy, we talked about it after the game on Saturday, that that's the only guy to me that I would not necessarily intentionally walk, but pitch around. Don't mess with. He's the guy that has the capability. Soto is obviously capable as well, but and has a good postseason batting average at 326. I just, has a home run. I just don't know that you need to pitch around him. You just need to pitch smart. Don't throw him fastballs up in the zone. If you give him stuff that's down and away, it's a lot harder for him. Judge is an absolute disaster in this series. It's unfortunate, but it's good for the Dodgers. Don't get me wrong. I am not upset about the fact that Aaron Judge has been abysmal. Stanton 2 for 4 today, batting .298. Chisholm 0 for. Volpe had a hit. Rizzo had a hit and a run scored. Trevino 0 for. Wells 0 for. Verdugo had the home run. So there's nobody in this lineup really other than Giancarlo Stanton. That's makes me fearful that you feel like that guy can beat us single-handedly the way Freddie Freeman is beating the Yankees single-handedly. If you're a Yankee fan right now, you're probably like, just don't throw Freddie Freeman a fastball inside, which is, excuse me. The first 2 home runs were basically the exact same pitch. Today, it looked like the same thing. I would like to go back and double check that. It could have been, like a cutter potentially, something like that. It seemed like a fastball up and in. Now he hit it to the short porch, which is 314 down the line. I think he hit it 330 or something like that. It wasn't a towering shot, but it was a 355 down the right field line. That is without a doubt a no doubter. So it came on a cutter. Yeah, that's what I thought. It didn't look like a fastball, but it also didn't look like a complete spinner, sweeper, off speed, slider, anything like that. Rob says 9% 12 a.m. here in the East. The Dodgers won the World Series against the Mets. Rob is saying that this has been in the bag since the Dodgers beat the Mets. It's 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern here in the East. The Dodgers won the World Series against the Mets. Yeah, I mean, my wife made the point, as I said, not a big sports fan, but has gotten into this just because the enormity of it. She's like, this is boring. And I'm like, I get it. You're right. It's not terribly exciting. It's not that we haven't seen any nail biters since the first game. And tonight was just a cakewalk. It was a cruise. The Dodgers got 2 in the first and then tacked on a couple here and there to make it 4-0. And that felt like enough. Like you could have sent Buehler out there for another inning. He only threw 75 pitches. The Yankees couldn't figure out the Dodgers at all. Joey says Dodgers are the best team by far. Well, at this point of the season, yeah, that's a fairly easy comment. And again, teams that have won the first 3 games of the World Series have gone on to win the World Series every single time in the history of baseball. So feeling pretty good about where the Dodgers are sitting right now, up 3-0. Because I don't feel like this is a Yankees Red Sox 2004 situation where, the Yankees just are, they're right there. They're almost there. They're a minute away from winning. No, I think this one is over, but anything can happen because I'm not going to jinx it personally. It's Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Dodgers with a 4-2 win today to take a 3-0 series lead in the World Series. Don't forget, you can listen wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast is also brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. And live bets are awesome, especially if you have a hunch. If you have a good feeling about a team that you are very close to and you know a lot about, and you see a tendency, that's when you jump in with the live bets. It's a whole lot of fun, and it takes action to the next level. So if you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats and see if it's backing your hunch, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. It's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Dodgers a 4-2 win to take a 3-0 series lead here. Played some good defense. Freddie Freeman got a big hit, the home run to the short porch. Mookie Betts, great play in the 4th off a line drive from Chisholm, and then Teo Hernandez throws out slow and pokey Stanton, who I didn't even seem like he was running full speed. I mean, that was too easy. A perfect throw, 94 miles an hour, his fastest throw from the outfield this season. Then Kike had an RBI single, knocking in Lux, who had been hit by a pitch, then stole second and scored. The Dodgers had one robbed from them. The squeeze bunt from Tommy Edman to score Gavin Lux was a run. And so again, another bad call by not just the home plate umpire, but they reviewed it. And back in New York or wherever they review it, they missed it too. I don't know. I mean, everybody was saying it that I was seeing in a variety of different places that it looked like Lux's hand got on there, but there was a lot of clay flying around, a lot of dirt in the air, so you couldn't quite see it. But forget about that part. The catcher dropped his knee and blocked the plate. He didn't do it egregiously. It wasn't aggressive, but he blocked his plate, blocked the plate. And you can't do that. So I don't know how that part didn't make the run score. So Dodgers probably should have won this game 5-2 at a minimum, right? But they didn't call that. Dodgers had more opportunities that they left hanging out there. They 3 leadoff walks in the first 4 innings, which was awesome to see. And then first and third, no outs in the fourth. They came up empty. Didn't love that, but they did scratch across runs. It wasn't like it's all about home runs, although the Dodgers have scored the majority of their runs in this series via the home run, which is fine. There's no problem with that at this point in time, right? If you're locked in and hitting the long ball, there are worse problems to have. The Dodgers versus this is another great stat that's working in favor of the Dodgers versus the Yankees starters, 8 runs in 12 innings. I mentioned this a couple of nights ago, I think, that I felt like the Dodgers offense was an added or a bonus, a benefit that was pointing towards the arrow pointing in favor of the Dodgers from an offensive standpoint at the plate. I felt like the Dodger bullpen was their advantage. And the only place that maybe you could argue that the Yankees had the advantage would be starting pitching. Well, that hasn't been the case either. So from those 3 perspectives, the Dodgers have the advantage in all 3 of those departments. Their starting pitching has been better, and they have gotten to the Yankee starters early, forcing them out of the game. Schmidt, 2 2/3 innings today. He threw 68 pitches. I mean, that's a lot over 2 2/3. He gave up the 3 runs, walked 4, which is why he got the heave-ho, and just 2 hits, but 4 walks. That's just way too much. And the Dodgers continue to be smart at the plate, not swinging at bad pitches unless your name is Shohei Ohtani. He's all sorts of out of sync right now. And I guess it makes a little sense because of the shoulder. You did see the grimace on his face a few times, but he just swinging at bad pitches. The K in the fourth was ugly, down and away. He's pulling out just way out, loopy. His front side is gone. And then the pitch is away on the outside half, and he's trying to make contact, just throwing his hands at the ball. And I know Shohei's capable of doing that and poking one into left field, but he just didn't look good tonight. He didn't look good yesterday. He's getting on base. He's walking, so you can't complain too much. His OBP is 403. His slug is 434 in the postseason. So that means his OPS is comfortably over 800, and that's a solid number. So he is getting on base. But I think we just want to see Shohei Ohtani launch one, right? Nearly had one in game 2, I want to say. Top of the wall, line drive, nearly got out, and it was roped, but it wasn't quite enough. I think we just want to see the majestic, towering Shohei Ohtani blast, and we'll forget about all of these mediocre performances, but he just hasn't been great at the plate. Frank is weighing in on the pitchers he thinks we'll see tomorrow. Kasperius, Knack, Vesia, Trinan, plus Honeywell, all available. Yeah, I agree. The problem becomes if any of those guys get into trouble, start getting knocked around, then what? Well, then you start saying, dig deep. All right. Who's next? Who do we have? Who wants to get out there? I'm sure Bonda would raise his hand. I'm sure Kopech. I bet all of them would raise their hand. Even Jack Flaherty, who started game 1, which game 1 was Friday, and today's Monday. So Friday was Saturday, Sunday. No, they played Thursday, Friday. What did they play? Friday, Saturday. They were off Sunday. Yeah, they played Friday, Saturday, off Sunday. Back at it Monday. So he's had 1, 2. Yeah, he's had 2 days of rest. Today being 3. Maybe you could get an inning out of him. I don't know. We're not going to see Ohtani. That's fair to say at this point. But all in all, another comfortable win. Buehler looked fantastic. And it makes me wonder, because Buehler's a free agent when this is all over. Are the Dodgers going to want to keep him around? Wasn't great during the regular season. Coming off his second Tommy John, though, he's been good in the postseason. And that's really all that matters, right? Isn't it? That this guy can pitch in high leverage situations. I don't know. That's going to be a tough call as to whether or not they offer him a contract to keep him around. We've heard that maybe he could end up with Cincinnati because that's near his hometown of Lexington, Kentucky. I don't know. I know a lot of people are not huge Walker Buehler fans. We've had a lot of comments that it's time to get rid of him, but that was during the regular season when he wasn't pitching well and his ERA was gargantuan. But he's been very good this postseason, and I think it would be a big loss if they don't keep him around for a couple more years. You know, it's going to be hard to sign him for a 2-year contract, but what we've seen from him thus far, could you imagine this rotation? Yamamoto, Buehler, Glasnow, and Flaherty. That's going to be a murderer's row if they can keep those guys healthy next year. Obviously, there's a bunch of rookies that the Dodgers have, Landon Knack, a lot of these youngsters that we've seen up and pitched well, but got hurt. Some of them are under the knife, and we won't see them until 26. So that's always the big question mark hanging over a team's head is who are going to be your starting pitchers? So what we're seeing from them right now is all good. And I think that's all that matters. So Walker Buehler did it today. And excuse me. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to the Dodgers. Real close, knocking on the door. 3-0. Game 4 tomorrow. The Dodgers can wrap it up. Bullpen day. It's going to be interesting. They get going a little after 5 again. 4-2 the final today. Appreciate you guys coming in, and we appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Frank is saying that Flaherty is lined up to start game 5. Okay, that would make sense. But let's be honest, Frank, there's not going to be a game 5. Another comment from Frank. He can live with Ohtani playing. He walked, he scored a run, hit by a pitch, he changes the lineup. It's true. Look, I said that. I think maybe I'm just speaking personally that I want to see the long bomb from Shohei Ohtani. I think that would justify his not justify, it would level out some of the strikeouts, and it would make us forget about some of the mediocre performance when it comes to hitting the ball. But he is getting on base, and that's the most important thing. Susan is an Astros fan, cheating Astros fan. Congrats on game 3. Awesome play. Go out there tomorrow and get the sweep. Well said, Susan. Thank you for that. Now I feel bad calling your team a bunch of cheaters, even though it's true. All right, we're done here. 4-2 the final. Locked On Dodgers postcast. I'll be back at it tomorrow right after the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for listening. And again, thanks for allowing us here at Locked On to be your source for your team every day. Have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.